What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Extra Innings Podcast. We're here today on Halloween on October 31st. It is I guess, a somber morning, a sad morning. Mostly, season's over. That's what I'm most sad about. I mean, as a fan of the Yankees, watching last night was something. I'll say that it was something. And we're gonna break it down, but we're gonna keep today short, sweet, nothing too crazy. Obviously, there's lots to discuss now as the season's over, as certain people are heading into free agency, teams are gonna change. So there's a lot. There's a lot that we can discuss, but we'll let the game breathe, let the Dodgers have the World Series, and we'll hit all that stuff. It's coming. It's coming. But let's just break down this game. I mean, that's what we're here to do today. But we're gonna let this World Series breathe a little bit. But let's look at this. Let's look at this. I have to. I mean, if you watched the game last night, and you're a Yankee fan or a fan of baseball, that was all right. So starters yesterday, Garrett Cole, and on the other side we had Jack Flaherty, who pulled what Jack Flaherty did against the Mets. Got fucking rocked. Didn't make it out of the second. Watching that, I was like, are we going to game? Are we about to get a game 6? Like, this is legit. In the bottom of the first, they had 3. Bottom of the second, they had 4. Bottom of the third, they had 5. At the bottom of the third inning, it was 5-0, and the Dodgers had no life in them. None. All Yankees. Aaron Judge seemed to have popped out of his slump. Hits a home run in the first inning. Jazz Chisholm hits another one after that. Giancarlo hits one in the third. I mean, they just came alive. It was like, yeah, like I remember, we were watching the game and I'm like, did something happen yesterday that just switched this? I even said it. Maybe that was the jinx. I was like, did something happen yesterday that just changed this whole trajectory of the series? I said it. I think I was with a lot of other people who were kind of making some maybe too early predictions of what was about to happen. I saw it all over Twitter. People were, back tweeting. I was a guy that had to delete a couple tweets because I was like, it's not going to age well, just simply because the game turned awful. Anyway, so so for the Dodgers, just dismal all the way through the 5th, and then it just fell apart. And here's the thing. Let's go to that 5th. Where's the all? I got to go by the 5th. The 5th. If you didn't watch the game last night, just Google the Yankees 5th inning yesterday, and I'm sure you'll find that it is nightmare fuel. If that happened to anybody's team, it's nightmare fuel. It is. Yeah. Okay, so in the 5th, and so Kike Hernandez leads it off with a single. Right, Garrett Cole I think he was at like 55 pitches going into the 5th inning, like cruising, just fucking cruising, like 50 pitches or something like that in the 5th inning. Kike gets a hit, and then it begins. Tommy Edman hits a pop fly. A couple innings before that, Aaron Judge is bouncing off the wall, making this phenomenal defensive play, hitting home runs, looking like Aaron fucking Judge. And then here we go. Tommy Edman hits a pop-up as routine as it could get. And it's just one of those things. And like, I get these guys are human. Like, that's the thing. I'm upset. But I'm not one of those guys that's going to berate you like you're a professional. Like, these things happen. Like, it's part of the game, and I get it. It's part of the game. It happens to everyone. No one is perfect. No one is safe from errors. No one is safe from strikeout. Whatever. It happens to everybody, and sometimes it can come. It's one of those things that's like it's almost like a clock's ticking. It's like, oh, it's your turn to make that. Like, it's going to happen sooner or later, and it happened to happen here. But ball right in his glove. Just I don't know if he was trying to like almost like catch it and throw out Kike Hernandez at first, or maybe try to hold him at bay. But I looked at the play. I remember they showed the replay. I don't know how many times. I don't know what he was doing. It just looked like he was too early. He just misplayed it. Just did not take it seriously. Then it gets worse. And then Will Smith hits a ground ball to Anthony Volpe. They have a chance to cut the run at third, or at least cut the runner and just reset the clock second and third. Anthony Volpe rushes the throw and throws it pretty much straight into the line of Kike Hernandez running to third. Jazz knocks it down, but again, bases loaded, no outs. And it was just at that point you're like, fuck, man, like this is not a team that you can give outs to. You should have 2 fucking outs. Garrett Cole should be at 60 pitches, but no, now he's going to keep rolling. Fortunately, it doesn't end there. So I'm like, okay, and you can tell Garrett Cole is visibly upset, but he's going to hone it in because he's fucking Garrett Cole. So he goes out there, strikes out Gavin Lux. You're like, holy shit, here we go. The base is loaded, no outs, strikes out Lux, get 1, strikes out Ohtani, gets 2. And I'm like, holy shit, is Garrett Cole about to get out of this? Are we about to leave this unscathed? Baseball gods don't do that. They don't work like that. Betts hits a ground ball to Anthony Rizzo at first. I can still see it. I don't know what he was between him and Cole. I don't know what was happening. Cole didn't run to make the play. PFP all day, every day. I think Rizzo was expecting Cole to be. I mean, that's one of those things where, like, as a pitcher, as an infielder, on that play to first base ground ball, you got to run up there. PFP over and over all day. Pitchers practice it in spring training. The Yankees don't practice many fundamentals. That's blatantly obvious. And I'm explaining another reason why. But, so Rizzo catches a ground ball, looks up, no one's there. And he was not running up to make the play, assuming, I guess. But again, why wouldn't you look up? It was a squibbler. The ball was rolling. That's what made it so close, is that it gave Betts enough time to even bust his ass down the line to get there. So it was it wasn't like a rocket to where I got time. It was one of those where it's like, it's going to have to be a toss and go. And Rizzo caught it like on his back foot. And I was like, bro, what the fuck? What are you doing? So right there, that scores the first run. Freddie Freeman comes up. Single. Edmund scores. Smith scores. Bookie bets the third. Here comes Teoscar Hernandez. Double. Game is fucking tied. Right there, man. And that was when I think the game, the whole first 5 innings of this game were all on the Yankees. They were in total command. And just, I don't think, and I think A-Rod said it, and I'm going to say it too, like, I don't think I've ever seen a team melt down like that in a fucking World Series, let alone a postseason game, a World Series game. Like, they fell apart. I mean, just completely collapsed on themselves. 3 crucial fucking errors in a game that would have continued your season, that you could have kept your foot on their throat, and you just collapsed on yourself. But we'll keep going because it's not over, fortunately. Muncy walks, and then Kike Hernandez comes back up and grounds into a ground ball. Hits a ground ball to Volpe and makes the play. All right. Vesia comes in, ground out from Giancarlo Stanton. Anthony Rizzo lines out. Volpe gets a hit. Wells gets drilled. Verdugo draws the walk. Bases loaded. 2 outs. We could do something. It could happen. And Gleyber Torres flies out to the right fielder. Then we go into the 6th. A bunch of nothing. 1, 2, 3. Gratterall comes in, walks Soto, walks Judge. Jazz hits a ground ball, moves the runners. Giancarlo Stanton hits a sac fly at 6-5. There we go. Rizzo walked. Training comes in. Gets Volpe to ground out. Going to the 7th. 1, 2. Freeman walks. Another walk. Muncy called out and strikes. Another big inning. Needed it from Clay Holmes, but he gets out of it. The 7th, nothing happens. 1, 2, 3. The 8th, we got Tommy Kahnle comes in to replace Clay Holmes. Listen, Clay Holmes, I think, is on a short leash. He didn't have the inning before. I thought, Clay Holmes is a little shaky, but he gets you out of it when he gets in it. And then what happened here in the 8th, I think, kind of shifted things a little bit. I thought they should have left. That's now the second time that I thought they maybe should have kept Holmes in there for one more. I really believe it. Because, coming into the top of the 8th, they put Tommy Kahnle in, who's just been throwing those change-ups. But the same thing, it's like you've thrown Kahnle multiple times this series, and you're only going to let him throw one pitch. Like, they know what's coming. They've seen it already. They know the break. They know the pattern. Like, they're going to rock his ass. So, single by Kike Hernandez, single by Tommy Edman, walk to Will Smith, and then brings in Luke Weaver, which should have just gone Luke Weaver, man. If you really wanted this game, Tommy Kahnle was never going to be the answer. I'm sorry. Not the answer. He's a one-pitch dude. He's a one-trick pony, and these guys have already seen it. He throws one real pitch, and it's the same break every time. It's not really a variable pitch that's going to move or change direction, or it's the same movement every time. Just wait for it, or let him walk you, which is exactly what he did. So they put in Luke Weaver, And of course, Luke Weaver gets the pop up, now tied 6, and then catcher's interference. I forgot about that on Shohei, Austin Wells, and clearly, yes, I thought maybe he didn't, but he got the part of the mitt, yeah, so he hit it. So again, bases are backloaded with 1 out, and the sealed fate, pop fly to dead center again. And that's the thing, is like you're putting Luke Weaver in a position that's it's almost impossible to make out unscathed. Bases loaded, no outs. You're putting in Luke Weaver. Like, as much as people are like upset that this is the way it went, like this was the best way. Like, it's not the greatest. Greatest, you strike out strike out 3 batters and they don't see a run. Next is probably a ground ball, get a double play, and then this is kind of like down the totem pole, like the better solution. I don't know. That was the nail in the coffin right there. That was the one, and then Freeman strikes out swinging. Here's the thing. I think like I felt deflated as a Yankee fan watching the game. You could feel the crowd get deflated. You felt them deflate. And that was the biggest thing. It's like I felt deflated at home. They felt deflated up there. Like it was too much. It was too much. I was spent. I had no more to give. I was like, I don't like it's 7-6. You could tell the Yankees looked bummed. I mean, you have to be. You had a 5-0 lead and you blew it on all unearned. All unearned. Not a single earned run there. Insane. And it's just like in a culmination of all the things that the Yankees couldn't have done this year, that the holes, the not having fundamentals, like even on the single, I think up the middle from Freddie Freeman when Garrett Cole was pitching, he wasn't even backing up. He cut the ball at the mound. What are we doing? It's just shit like that. You're just like, man, what? The thing is, like, you play good defense, you play fundamental baseball, and the game rewards you that way. When you play it like these guys played it, it's kind of like you never deserved it. Like, I remember I even said, I was watching the game and I was watching, and when it was 5-5, I literally was like, if they lose, you can't even, what do you say? They didn't deserve to win the game. If they won by any means, I would have been like, that was just luck of the draw, because they did not deserve to win this game at all. And, the game doesn't reward shit like that, man. Like, the baseball gods are getting cruel sometimes. And that's kind of how it ends, man. Bottom of the 8th, ground out. Anthony Volpe Judge hits a double, walk, fly out, strike out. Top of the 9th, get out of it pretty quickly, nothing. Volpe hits a ground ball, Wells strikes out, and Verdugo strikes out. The other thing, like, you didn't call up a single pinch hitter for Verdugo. Like, I get Verdugo's been kind of solid, but like, or for Wells, who clearly had a great game yesterday but didn't have it today. Didn't think about a pinch hit there. No pinch hit for Verdugo. Like, we just going out quiet. Like, that stuff I don't agree with. I'm just kind of like, what happened? Like, what was the thought process? Are we just rolling over? Like, I don't know, man. And that's kind of how the game went. That was the game. That's it. I don't know, man. It was hard to watch. It was a hard game to watch. I know that for Garrett Cole, maybe some of these other guys, those errors are going to haunt them probably forever. I mean, those are moments that you can't really unfeel. I mean, it was hard to watch, man. And then Walker Buehler obviously comes in and closes it, tries to get his little moment. His little Madison Bumgarner moment. Starter comes in, closes the World Series, and they win it. But, that's cool, whatever. But, yeah, man, I mean, that fell solely on defensive fundamentals, the whole thing. And maybe that's a lot of, I was listening to some podcasts this morning before we started, and a lot of people think the same thing. It's like, this is just the holes that the Yankees have had all year that just got exposed at the biggest moments. Lack of really truly clutch pitching, a real bullpen. You're kind of dealing with the bottom of the barrel on some of these guys. Nothing against them. It's just like, Vesia, Gratter, all these guys are like A+, like relievers, closers, and we're dealing with like Mark Leiter Jr., who they got at a waiver wire at the deadline. Like, it's not the same caliber pitcher, man. It's not. And granted, Mark Leiter Jr. came in and did some great things, but like, you're talking Tim Hill, who was released by the White Sox. Like, all these guys are like a band of misfit toys that have kind of worked here and there, but like in a series like this, like it doesn't translate. You get beat, and the Dodgers beat them, but the Yankees also beat themselves, man. Like, game 1, beat themselves. Game 2 and 3, just rolled over and died. 4 came back and kind of lit a fire in their ass, which they came into this game with, and then the wheels fell off, man. There's no other way to describe this. And the other thing, like, people are like, well, they made it to the World Series, so Boone will be back. I mean, there's no way Boone's not back, which is I don't quite know how I feel about it. Obviously, I'm never going to call for someone's job. That's ridiculous, and I have no qualifications to say something like that because I'm not there. I'm not in the meetings. I'm not firsthand in the decisions that were made. If they were a joint decision between the coach group, I don't know. I'm not going to put it on one guy. But the other thing is, like, I think that there was some questionable decisions that were made by Boone in some points. Like, I'm just kind of like, what the fuck? And then obviously we're you got Soto going into free agency. You got a boatload of other guys that are going to be going into free agency. Like, what's going to happen to this team? You know, Soto said, and here's the thing about Soto, and people are, call me an asshole, tell me what I am. I know Yankee fans are dying to have him back in pinstripes, maybe even for a really long time. And this is the only thing I'm going to talk about because we're going to save free agent talks and big movements probably for next week. But that's the thing. Like, people are like, oh, Juan Soto this, Juan Soto that. Juan Soto is a Boris guy. He's one of Boris's biggest guys, on top of Garrett Cole and all those other guys. But let alone what he dropped this year for Snell and Montgomery and all that stuff. Aside from that, Soto is not loyal to a club. He's not looking, and it's fine. Like, nothing against him, man. Like, get your bag. Like, I'm not gonna like talk shit to you because you want to make more money. Like, you have the talent to do it, man. Go ahead and do it. Make your money. But a lot of Yankee fans have been scrolling through Twitter and stuff are like, yeah, Soto, like, he loved playing in New York. It doesn't get bigger, but like, it might not get bigger for him, but like, he'll get paid more. So they have no edge over any other team in free agency. So he's going to sign, or who's going to offer him the most money. It's not about, and Juan Soto's just not one of those guys, man. He's not a Judge who could have probably gone and made X amount more somewhere else. But Judge wanted to be a Yankee. It's different. Soto wants to get paid. Two different kind of players. Like, there's players that are going to bounce around and just make the most money, and there's going to be players who are like, I'd like to be here for a while. I'd like to play here. And I don't think Soto's one of those guys. So it's going to be interesting to see. That's probably the biggest free agent of the Yankees. I think Trevino's a free agent this year. Verdugo probably is only signed for a 1 year too. But another guy who's like, I want to come back, who's made it obvious. He said straight up, like, I want to be a Yankee. I don't want to go play anywhere else. That's awesome, man. Like, I think if Verdugo can fix some pieces, he's still a great ball player. But I might go down a rabbit hole, so I'm going to stop. Obviously, World Series MVP, Freddie Freeman. The Dodgers played well all the way. I mean, can't say anything. You can't say shit. They played really well. I mean, they executed on errors that needed to be exposed. Like, Ohtani still 0 for 4, didn't show up, but Betts, 1 for 3. Freddie Freeman 1 for 3. Obviously, your World Series MVP, Freddie Freeman, for obvious reasons, hit a home run in 4 of the fucking World Series games. Oscar Hernandez, another great guy, 2 for 4, came in clutch with hits. Muncy 0 for 4. Kike Hernandez, another one. Diamond in the rough, 1 for 5. Edman 0 for 4. Will Smith, and 0 for 2. And Gavin Lux. But even then, hits, the Yankees out hit them. They beat the fucking selves, man. That's nothing else. There's nothing else you can really say. Like, the Dodgers didn't do anything phenomenal. They pitched. They still had their pitching woes. They had errors here and there with the pitching, and gave the Yankees a lot of wiggle room that they just gave right back. And nothing else to really say, man. The Yankees beat themselves. The Yankees shit themselves. That's why they lost this game. That's why there's not a game 6 on Friday. But hey, man, that's how the ball rolls sometimes, man. That's baseball, unfortunately enough. But anyway, guys, thank you so much if you tuned in all year. You tuned in this season. I appreciate you guys listening. It was a blast. I had fun doing this. First time I've done this for a full year. I know I had, bottom of the ninth, and that was something that I did for Baseball Express, and it was fun, talking to guys, and maybe we can do that on this channel and get some ball players on here. I'm definitely going to try to do that. But at the same time, like, it was fun, man. It was good talking about ball. It's fun talking about baseball. So we're going to keep this thing rolling. Like I said, I've got some topics to talk about. Obviously, in the offseason, there's still plenty of ball to talk about. Plenty of things to talk about. So we're just going to keep this rolling. It'll probably be like 3 days a week, I think. Probably Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or something like that. Just kind of keep it rolling. Obviously, the content on socials will keep rolling as well. So be sure to tune in, like, follow, subscribe, all that shit. Same on YouTube, man. If you like it, if you think I'm an idiot again, if you think the Yankees played well, let me know. But I don't think there's a single soul out there that's going to say that. But yeah, YouTube, like, subscribe, all that shit. If you listen on Apple, Spotify, make sure we rate. If you can comment, it's great. Do that for me. I really appreciate it. But yeah, guys, it's been great. We'll probably catch you guys on Monday. I think Monday's going to be the day. We'll talk about some free agents. But yeah, 2024 season is over. It's a sad day, man. It's a sad, sad day. But we still got football, right? Football, but it's not the same. It's not the same. It's not the same. But anyway, guys, I appreciate y'all listening, and we'll catch you guys in the next episode.